Hey guys, so this is the start of a series that I'm putting together where we're just going to go over things that men deal with on a daily basis, the lives of men, and what masculinity looks like today in the world. And so obviously not everything here is going to be agreeable. Not everything here is going to be fully understood. I think all of us men are still working through a lot of these things in our lives. And when we actually at least have the conversation, we can get into a space where one, we can spark our own ability to critically think about it. And number two, we can evaluate where we sit in this position consciously, because a lot of what we think about as men today is subconsciously. A lot of is as humans, really, but really the foundation of masculinity is developed in a way that wasn't necessarily created by us individually. And so through this series, through this YouTube, we're going to dive into a lot of these things, and we're just going to have quick conversations about it. You know, I want guys to get involved with the conversation, number one, and I want guys to get involved with critical thinking. And I want people to really assess, okay, what is Johnny saying? And does it make sense to me? Do I align with it? Is there another reason why I don't align with it? Or is there something else that I believe? But thinking about it in a very, descriptive and complex way can allow us to have better conversations in society and show up better as men, as ourselves, and in authenticity. So me saying this as a man and as the host of the Art of Masculinity podcast, you guys are probably wondering, who am I and why do I even want to talk about this? Well, number one, I already have a podcast, which is great. And I have 270 episodes on that podcast, from talking with other men out in the world today who have been professional athletes, business moguls, former special operations guys, and everything in between, authors, sex coaches. We dive into a lot of different areas of masculinity on the show. And I wanted to bring that here to YouTube in short videos so you guys can get a little bit of what's going on the podcast side, and you guys can dive in here. Plus, I do have another channel where we will be putting up a lot of the podcasts for you guys to see. So if you prefer a visual of a show, we will have it here on YouTube on my other channel, which is the Art of Masculinity. You guys can check that out. Now, into who I am, right? Because you got to know who you're even listening to if you really even want to take words of advice or words of knowledge from them. I'm Johnny L. Sasser, and I'm former Special Operations U.S. Army Ranger. I also spent 5 years of my life doing protecting the U.S. ambassador to Iraq out of Baghdad. Overall, between everything, protection, I spent about a decade overseas in and out of the Middle East. And so in all of this, I have seen the side of alpha mindsets. I've lived that life, and I still have that about me. And not only have I lived that, I've seen the dark sides of it. I've seen the sides that don't allow us to really create the experience in life that makes us happy, that makes us fulfilled. And I've seen a lot of what holds us back. And on the other side of that, I've seen the huge positivities of having that alpha mindset, of being a confident man in today's world, of knowing your capabilities and being able to assess your position and be adaptable in any situation. On top of that, I've grown into this self-development role for men as a men's leadership coach, as a men's life coach, as a development coach, as somebody who allows us to push the fringes of what masculinity means to us by really assessing the psychological and sociological aspects of masculinity by having dived into it deeply and studied it now for the last few years of my life. And so I bring that forward all in a way that we can have these conversations and really dive into who we are as men and make conscious assessments of where we want to go as individuals. So all of that being said, that is my background. That is where I'm coming from. And I'm here to talk about the things that we go through in society. We're going to probably hit on some relevant subjects in society as well. Some things that are going on in media today, maybe with people today. Everybody has heard about some of the shit going on the Oscars and stuff like that. So we will talk about those things because I think those are great proving points and assessment points for masculinity when men are involved. These are the ways that we can see versions of men we don't want to be, or at least assess the approach that somebody else takes, and then try to reconstruct on where we would see ourselves fitting into that scenario and why, and then assessing the mindset behind that, because that is where the power really is, guys. When it comes to masculinity, when it comes to men in general, we need to be able to assess and to critically think about what it is that's provoking us, whether something's provoking an emotion, whether something is provoking us to perceive a situation a certain way. Potentially it is what has been indoctrinated in us when we were younger. Maybe it was a point in our life. Like for me, I had essentially two upbringings. I had when I was a kid, and then I had when I was reconstructed as a man in the military, because I was in at 17 years old. And in the military, especially in special operations, you are broken down to a foundational level and built back up to have certain perceptions, not only of yourself, but of the world. And part of that is to keep you with the ability to survive in incredibly austere and hostile situations. And part of that is also to get you to function as a unit with your brothers. And so I had essentially two upbringings that I end up having to consult every time I do a self-assessment. Every time I start to think about why I am perceiving a situation a certain way, or why I am judging somebody, or why I'm judging myself, I have two different scenarios I have to take a look at: my upbringing and my second upbringing in the military. So all of this plays into our psyche, and just like it does for me, it does for you as well. And so I don't want you to think that this is just a place for me to share my opinions and you guys take it. This is a place for me to even do this assessment with you, and then for you to progressively make these assessments of yourself, because the only way that we can grow as a unit promoting positive versions of masculinity in this world today, influencing our ecosystems in a way where they see men who can outlive evolution and, well, can't outlive evolution, but you get what I'm saying. Outlive the predisposed nature of the past and allow ourselves to adapt and evolve. That is what I'm doing here. That's what I want to do with you guys. This is my background. This is who I am. This is what I'm going to share with you guys. And the added benefit is, if you have any questions, make sure you put them in the comment section, or come over and check me out on IG at johnny.elsasser. You can message me on IG. That's where I hang out the most. And we can talk about stuff. And then if you guys are really interested, you can listen to more deep dives at the Art of Masculinity and listen to some of the conversations that I've had with men today in the world who are doing big things and have done big things, but may have had significant struggles in their life that you and many others who possibly look up to them never knew about. So, guys, this is me. Enjoy the channel. Make sure you guys like it. Make sure you subscribe it if it's something you're jamming out into, and share it with your friends, guys. All right.